Routing matching mortises and tenons is quick and easy with the FMT. First, mark one side of each part. Now mark a cross at the center of the tenon on only one workpiece. On the jig tabletop, pull the table sight forward to its stop. Place the tenon piece against the side stop with the marked side toward the clamp plate and slide it up to touch the sight. Use the adjustable cam action speed clamps to lock it in place. Unlocking the table clamp allows the table to move freely in any direction. The table is positioned so that the sight centers over the cross on the workpiece. The table clamp is reset and the sight is retracted. A guide is selected that suits the stock size. These patented Leigh template guides are the heart of the FMT system. They're designed to guide the router during the creation of both the tenon and its perfectly matching mortise. Once the guide has been chosen and snapped into place, the matching diameter bit is installed in the router. The two guide pins on the bottom of the subbase guide the router. The right-hand guide pin slides in the right slide track. The left-hand pin circles the guide, creating the shape of the tenon. This animation shows how the guides and guide pins precisely steer the tenon bit. The bit is adjusted to the depth of cut required for the tenon, and the router depth stop is set. Tenons are first routed clockwise with a very light climb cut. This creates a very clean-edged shoulder. Then for the finish cut, routed counterclockwise with the pin running on the guide. The sight is moved forward, the workpiece turned over and slid up to touch the sight. If you forget to retract the sight when cutting tenons, the router subbase automatically pushes it back into place. All other similar tenons can now be routed, without having to mark or sight the tenons, or remove the router from the jig. All FMT tenons will be identical in size, regardless of any variations in stock size. To create the matching mortises, the center positions of only one mortise workpiece are marked. The sight is extended out to its stop. The mortise piece is moved over until the cross is centered under the sight. Then it's clamped in place and the sight retracted. If you forget to retract the sight knob will remind you by making it impossible to set the subbase in the guides. The router is placed back on the jig. The right-hand guide pin is again in the right side track. But this time the left-hand pin is in the mortise slot of the guide. This patented Leigh system accurately guides the tenon bit. To cut the mortise, a series of overlapping holes is plunged. Then route it side to side to clean it out. The Leigh frame mortise and tenon jig is infinitely adjustable for a perfect fit. The guide pin on the subbase can be raised or lowered to compensate for manufacturing tolerances in bit diameters and router runout. Raising the tapered guide pin produces a wider mortise and a smaller tenon for a looser fit. Lowering the pin produces a narrower mortise and a wider tenon for a tighter fit. The FMT is amazingly accurate. 1/8 of a turn on the guide knob equals 1/1000th of an inch on the glue line. The knob is graduated in eighths. This allows for recording of settings for future use. Again, you can route more matching mortises without marking them or removing the router from the jig. The Leigh frame mortise and tenon jig comes equipped with 2 outrigger bars. This allows you to attach 2 shop-made beams to the jig to cut spaced mortises in one workpiece. By placing reference marks on the outrigger beam or installing stop blocks, you can route similar mortises without having to mark or sight all the mortise positions or remove the router from the jig.